Let's all stand for our pledges and our prayer tonight. We'd like to welcome you to the Oklahoma City meeting of the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. God, we're thankful that we're able to come tonight. We're able to have the freedom and the liberty that you've endowed to our nation. We pray tonight, Lord, for our leaders, for those who are defending our rights tonight, Lord, that you'll just protect them. We pray tonight, Lord, as a nation that we'd be united under you. We pray, Lord, that we will be vigilant in defending the liberty and the rights that you've given us and you've granted us. In Christ's name I pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Again, I'd like to welcome you to our meeting tonight. We are pleased to have with us the president of the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association, Mr. Don Spencer.
Woohoo! Who would have ever thought all you got to do to get rid of a COVID virus is watch a murder take place out in the street? Yeah. Just went away like that. And then all of a sudden now it becomes a concern again because there's 800,000 requests for people to get together to see President Trump in Tulsa. And all of a sudden now we've got to be concerned about it again, right? Because it's just a big issue. Well, I've had some messages and people ask about everything from they're not going to do that to Tulsa. Should we be there to keep that from happening there? And one side of me says yes, but here's the second part of this. A lot of people aren't taking consideration. When the president comes into town, it's a Secret Service operation. So a lot of your little rules and laws and stuff can get folded real fast because his life is going to be more important than your rights in a very temporary state. So what could possibly happen if they still have it at the OK Center, because there was talk about being moved, what could happen is not only the OK Center, they could actually put a perimeter out away from that to protect those that may be watching out and viewing it from the outside, some things like that. So folks, I would not, unless you want to walk back to your car and who knows where that could be, I would not carry anything, even a fingernail trimmer, into that area with me at all for that event. And like I say, you guys know I'm not one that likes to go anywhere unarmed, but like I say, it just cracks me up. Here, the concern, even the mayor of Tulsa, concern for COVID, being, it's like people, I assure you, there's enough people who say, I'll get COVID just to see that president talk. That's exactly what it's like, and I don't see that changing at all. Anytime soon. The city, come on in, ladies, come on in and have a seat. They're preparing for it, so we'll see how it transpires. But folks, I would not get in any hurry about trying to take a weapon anywhere near or around a presidential event like this. All right? Any questions on that? You watch my stuff online there? Okay. Well, that being saying that as it is there, as we go, there's also, boy, I tell you what, it's just amazing, though, how things can flip upside down. I tell you what, have you ever thought about how glad we are we've got constitutional carry? Yep. Did it make, I know people who have businesses and other interests that they had firearms hot, ready to go, peacefully sitting in front of those areas, and I'm in shock. Nothing happened. That's just kind of how that works. And I don't think we would have felt near as comfortable about doing that, and had we not had constitutional carry. Even though you could carry on private property, this made it just absolutely clear we can defend ourselves. Now, here's what we've got to do. We've got to extend that, because right now you can defend yourself in your building, in your house, in your business without basically without question. But we need to make sure that that defense goes all the way to the edge of your property. Because it doesn't take much. If you've got someone that's running up towards you with a Molotov cocktail, you need to be able to stop that before any other damage can take place.
Yeah,
period.
absolutely.
Period. And that's just one of the things we're going to continue to work on with OK2A next year. I've already been working with legislators. In fact, had a nice drive with some over to Arkansas. We were presented some awards over there for the first anti-red flag law in the nation. I tell you, Jan Morgan and the 2A women, you talk about a top-notch organization, and that she is just making that thing move like a freight train. And it's great. It was an honor to be presented an award for our efforts that we've managed to take place and get done this year. And like I say, I've even getting messages from sheriffs and law enforcement saying, we appreciate that so much. It takes so much heat off of us that we don't have to try to initiate anything red flag because we don't like it anyway. We're taking guns from people that have not committed a crime, and they've not faced due process. And so we agree with you, and we hope that this becomes the new trend across this country, because we've got legislators. It was great to be in Arkansas actually presenting a copy of the law to legislators and say, okay, here it is, go do it. And so that's a great feeling. So I anticipate Arkansas not only, well, they're already on the bandwagon, who are we kidding, but taking that wagon and getting it moving on down the road to get something done and accomplished, that's for sure. All right. So anyway, now I've also, like I say, well, this has just been an interesting time with all the elections going on. But there's been some people that are upset with me specifically because I did not get in any hurry running to the defense of a person who has been arrested for having a fully automatic weapon in their possession, which, by the way, they were using it, showing it on YouTube, without the proper and legal paperwork to have that weapon. Folks, machine guns, the United States Congress dealt with machine guns in 1934, 38, whichever one it was, 1934, over 80 years ago, and made it illegal for you to have a machine gun. Ronald Reagan made sure that those machine guns that were left over had registration back in 1987. It is no secret to anybody. You cannot have a machine gun, a fully automatic weapon, or a short-barreled without the proper paperwork. So if you're stupid enough, and I mean stupid enough, to be using that illegal weapon in your possession on YouTube and advertising it, and for some reason they show up on your house, your porch, and come to take it away and put you in jail for a long time, you're just stupid. It's just no different than trying to walk onto the aircraft with a machine gun, a commercial airplane with a machine gun. You're just stupid. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to work. And like I say, I think you should be able to have machine guns with anything else. But the fact is, that's the way it is right now. That's the law, and it's been like that for 80 years. And until we can push it back, which I don't know if it's going to happen in our lifetime or not, but until we can push it back, that's the way it is. So don't expect OK2A to come bail you out because you were stupid. And don't expect your friends to get mad at me and be justified because your friend was stupid. All right? Everyone kind of with me on the stupid thing? You kind of get that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I've been called all kinds of names and stuff this last 2 weeks over that, like, whatever. And people get upset, and it just cracks me up. These purists, you should be able to carry a machine gun. I'm thinking, where were you guys when we were doing constitutional carry or even open carry? Because open carry and our constitutional carry still really isn't constitutional carry. It's not, I mean, you're still limited where you can carry. And you're still limited what you can carry. So you purist, the purist out there, you've got to understand, we work by incrementalism. And that's how we've managed to be so successful over the past number of years to get advances that we've had. We've had 9 felonies for the peaceful ownership and possession of a firearm repealed. repealed. And that's 10 years. So if you think you're going to have a machine gun and just set the world on fire and it's going to fix this, we're just going to stand back and say, dude, you're stupid. Or at least I will. I may be speaking for a few of you I know out there. All right, so any questions on that? I didn't think there would be because, most people know you don't have a machine gun without paperwork. I really wasn't anticipating that there. Now, with what's going on in the past few weeks, boy, it's been a riot, hasn't it? That was kind of a joke. Bad joke. But the thing, yeah. But the thing is, it just reminds me how important our Second Amendment rights are, because it's a natural deterrent when you have a firearm on you in your arm and you're prepared to use it and trained to use it. That how that just naturally deters crime, and we've seen it over and over again. And it just also gets me that these cities that say you can't have a gun, we'll protect you, and then 911 won't even answer the phone, because they're all out with the COVID virus, or because they can't be in the building, or because they can't contact law enforcement, so they don't want to answer the phone. And then if you do have a firearm to defend yourself, we're going to come and arrest you later. So that's the common sense that we're dealing with out there, and we're noticing that those big blue cities that have the strictest restrictions are having the biggest problems. Now, I want to also compliment Oklahoma City. I think you did a wonderful job, restraint with what was going on and what was right in front of you. I'm disappointed. I'm going to say it out loud. I'm disappointed with the Capitol Police because they let some stupid thugs go up there and spray paint that building when they knew they were on their way. That stuff has got to be. We got to be better prepared than that. But like I say, if they can't stop someone from spray painting the state capitol, can they protect you?
No.
Right. So who's going to have to protect you? That's yourself. That's it.
Look in the mirror.
That's right. Look in the mirror. I don't know. Some of you guys may break the mirror. It might be a bit risky out there. All right. Now, amongst all this other stuff, because we don't have anything going on, right?
Right.
We had an appearance in front of the state Supreme Court. Oklahoma Second Amendment Association did last week. Was it last week? God, things have just been a month. Week before last, one of those two. We still do not have the results back or any information back from our attorneys. From what I understand is that our attorneys will be notified by correspondence. So I'm just like you. I'm waiting to see how this turns out. I'll remind you real quickly. It is about Representative Lowe. I gave you guys the opportunity because you're usually pretty good about that. Representative Lowe filed so basically the constitutional carry would have to go to a vote of the people. Now, like I say, I can't think of a better example of showing just how wrong a guy can be with the riots we have seen and what's taken place just in the last few weeks. You can't be more wrong than that. So, for sure. So anyway, I'm still waiting to hear back with that. I want to thank Kevin Calvey and Robert Robles, the two attorneys that were, you talk about some... And I apologize. We said we were going to put it on Facebook Live, but there was this little interesting piece of paper from the state Supreme Court that says there will be no recording of the video of the meeting, which is just basically like if you're in the courtroom. Anything, you got to take hand notes or whatever. So there is no recording of it. There won't be one that I know of. And we did that specifically not to put it on because I did not want to get close to risking the chance of someone recording it and it get played back later and come back to us somehow or another. So that's just the way that is. We respect the court and how they operate that. I'm sure they have their reasons for it, but you would think that, wouldn't you think you'd like a playback button just to check on something? But that's how they do it, so that's what we're working from. So as soon as we hear from that, obviously we're hoping, and our arguments were quite simply based on the fact that they've got what's called the gist, which is the explanation. And they kind of forget and fail to mention that, oh, by the way, if this repeals back to what it was, it's going to criminalize a constitutional right, which is pretty important. Also want to thank the Attorney General's office because they were also in and had contributed to the court action that day and did a marvelous job on top of the marvelous job our attorneys did. The presenter of the for Jason Lowe, which no, he was not there. The presenter for them, he had a very well prepared speech, but when it came to after answering questions, he kind of left him, wasn't quite ready for that. So that's what the difference is between experienced attorneys and someone that's doing something for the Bloomberg dollars, I guess. So there you go. We'll take it, though. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. You go mess up all you want, dude. Doesn't bother me at all. All right. Any questions on that? Is there any other questions at all? Have I missed something so far?
I got a question.
Yeah.
So if I'm in my car and I get stopped, but I've got a gun on my hip and it's loaded, will I get in trouble?
Are you a felon?
No.
Can you legally purchase the firearm?
Yes.
Okay, the only thing you could get in trouble for is if you refuse to inform the officer if he asks if you have a firearm. Then you get into a little bit of trouble. We made sure it's not much trouble, it's just a little bit. But no, you're over 21, right? Okay, just asking. I can't tell ages, right? No, there should not be any issue. There's some people out there that are trying to tell us that you can't legally carry it that way, and they're just full of crap. They got no idea what they're talking about. So, but anyway, I hope that answers your question. Aren't you glad you came tonight? Look, you would not have known that. No, your husband would have beat you up about it.
Probably.
Yeah, I know he would.
He's going to.
I know he would. Hey, watch that distancing right there now. I don't want to see anyone get hurt. Okay? All right.
Where are they watching from?
Now, yeah, where are you guys watching from? I don't care what Walmart parking lot you're at or what pizza joint or wherever you're at. Dial in where you're at, punch in where you're at, what you're even doing other than watching this. You got a question?
Johnny's asking online about repeating the question essentially. And so those people online will be able to hear the question being asked.
Okay.
Okay. Then Victor earlier asked about joining OK2A. It's been answered online, but you might want to mention it
good.
again.
Joining OK2A is as difficult as pulling out your phone and type OK2A.org. And then you go where it says membership, join, click on that. There's also a little bit of confusion. It says the word donation. Yes, anytime you put money in, you become a member. So whether it says donation or membership, just click on it, follow the prompts, go on through with that, and you'll do fine. We will not be offended if you have to start at a 6-figure donation. Because that's a great point, because people ask me, well, where does this go? Well, folks, right now, man, we've got some barn burner sheriff races going on, and this is the first year we've gotten full-fledged in elections for county sheriffs. Because, folks, if you don't have a good county sheriff, you don't have protection. You have to have a constitutionally minded county sheriff, and things will roll smoother from that point on. And so we're making an effort to get the right people and keep the right people in there for this. Now, each time you see a Facebook ad, also we're doing mailers, and we've also paid for some billboards. This is to get the right people back in there. Senator Bergstrom in Senate District 1, Northeast Oklahoma, he's in a fight. This guy, hey guys, this is a guy, he's himself has got 3 gun bills on the desk of the governor, 3 or 4. We need this guy back. People just like him. And we've got a slew of them. Pay attention to our Facebook stuff, because we're putting the latest endorsements up there, and also people who've also filled out surveys that we may not be endorsing, but you need to know where they're standing, at least for further issues on that. So, yes, sir.
Is that information online as well? You don't do Facebook and all that?
The information, we do have, he asked if the information was online about election stuff. It is on our website, and I've got to do a major update, and it's my fault. because of a techno glitch getting stuff to the website person. But yes, it is on Facebook. I'm sorry, it's on the website, and it'll be updated. But like I say, the fastest thing is Facebook, because man, we can just make it happen just like that. If you're not a member, or if you've not clicked on the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association to follow it, you need to do that, because then you can get the latest updates on what's going on. And if you like talking and asking questions, just like that, you can always join the discussion group to get more information on stuff. And as a lot of you guys have seen, we keep that discussion group as clean as possible. I mean, and I had another person whining, well, you kicked me off there. I got a First Amendment right. No, you don't. Go away. You don't have a First Amendment right anymore to come in my house and start cussing at me. No, you don't. That doesn't work. So, and also, and I've emphasized this, we have, which I think is fantastic, we have youth, parents let their kids use the Oklahoma Second Discussion Group as a part of their civics class to learn about how bills start, how they progress, other laws and things like this. And folks, if we don't have the youth, this thing's gone in 20 years. And with the Supreme Court ruling like yesterday, I'm not so sure. We've got to have some help, because any time, I think, how did it work? They didn't hear 10 Second Amendment bills, but they put through to make sure basically a church has to hire a homosexual without discrimination. And was supposedly conservative justices. Well, obviously that doesn't exist. I've always been a little leery of that for sure. But they wouldn't hear 10 Second Amendment cases. So that's what we're up against in the future. So anyway, the importance of the education is important. And I don't want moms saying, I'm not going to let my kids read that if you got a bunch of foul-mouthed bullies on there doing that stuff. And you know what? They're right. That's right. And I will kick out every foul-mouthed bully to make sure those kids have an opportunity to have an education. Amen. So there it is. And we've done a few kicking out. Now, like I say, on our candidates that we're endorsing, folks, make sure that it's just not a click and a like. If these people are in your district, and even if they're not in your district, we're telling you who we need back in there or who we need in there. So even if it's a financial contribution to that race, even if it's, someone in their district, make sure they're voting for the right person. Those are the little things that add up, that don't cost you necessarily a whole lot to do. But it adds up to make sure we defend, so we don't ever look like a Virginia at this state capitol, so we don't ever look like a New York City or California. This is how you stop it. Now, the other way you stop it too is real easy, and I think you may have heard me mention this before, but Senate District 3, which is up Grove, Oklahoma, all the way down, swings around to Shoto and Inola, is Senator Wayne Shaw. We've had Senator Wayne Shaw, who has a lifetime average of a C average over 8 years. You think there's room for improvement? Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't have to tell you a whole lot more. But he's voted against your right to be able to have a loaded handgun in your car without the government's permission. He's voted against your private property rights. He's voted against your ability to be able to have legal action against a municipality or something like that has violated your Second Amendment rights. He walked the vote. He walked the vote for constitutional carry the first time. He voted for it the second time, but I'll make it real clear. The bill did not go through his committee. The bill went around his committee because they knew he wouldn't hear it. They put it in appropriations, where we thank Senator Roger Thompson for hearing the bill and getting it passed and getting it moved on out. And then this year he said, I'm not hearing any gun bills. And he killed 8 gun bills in his committee. So that's what we're dealing with. And so, folks, very simply, that's got to be changed, and we've got a good change, and his name is Blake Cowboy Stevens. I want you guys to get behind this. If you're in Grove, Oklahoma, Inola, Shoto, Westville, outside of Tahlequah, you guys need to be on board, and you need to make sure this guy gets in there and gets elected. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. So, and people say, well, if I'd have known, I'd have voted. Well, now you know. We're telling you. This is time. This has to be fixed, because real simple, folks. If he's not fired, what's he going to do for the next 4 years? Kill bills. He's got nothing to lose. So he's got to be fired. Okay. Any questions on that? Yes, sir.
Okay, along that same line, Steve online wants to know about state workers being able to conceal carry.
Well, as far as I know, a state worker can conceal carry as long as you're not in a state building. For sure, you can have it in your car. You cannot enter a state building. You can carry at this point. You can carry on state property. Just because you're an employee does not mean you lose your right to carry outside of that building for self-defense. But no, you're not going to be able to enter the building for sure. Now, we're going to clarify this, and we were trying to do it with municipal employees because, again, we work by incrementalism. If you guys remember, just a couple years ago, we got it passed so a county employee could carry while on the job. And so it's been passed that a municipal can carry while on the job, but they have to be an armed security guard or a cop. Well, that ain't good enough because we had the bill this year so they could carry on an SDA license just like they could for a county. So we're working our way to make sure that that's cleared up. But again, it's incremental steps. And I really think that that's going to be the biggest hurdle because then you have the whole state coming at you against a bill instead of just a few municipalities, which would be some of the bigger ones. The smaller ones were wanting it, which was great. And I think the Oklahoma, what was that?
Wait.
Oh, you're doing those signals. I don't know. I haven't.
I'm just getting in line.
Okay. Oh, getting in line? Okay. So anyway, I hope I answered that question for you. All right. Yes, because I don't see what the problem is for someone carrying while on the job. I don't know what that's going to harm or hurt anyway. Okay. And like I say, the sheriff's races have been very interesting this year. In fact, we've got one of the candidates here tonight. I can see him back there. He's going to come up and speak for just a minute. And like I say, folks, I'll make it real clear. We're going to be out the door here at 7:20. We're going to be gone at 7:20. So we got some candidates here. Yes, I saw you there too.
Online questions. Yes. I've had 3 or 4 people ask online about their particular county and who we're endorsing for sheriff of their particular county. How would they find out? Okay, the quickest way is go to the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association main page. It's posted on there right now. And we have, I think today I had 15 or 16 endorsements on there, and I think there's 35 races that have races going on. So the other question is Garvin County. I do not understand Garvin County. They have a sheriff that is running. They've got 3 other people, and not a one of them have turned in a survey. We've emailed, we've mailed them to them. And so Garvin County, you need to be asking your folks, asking those people running, why haven't you filled out a survey? And they need to give you an answer why. Oh, good. Yes, sir.
Also about the Shaw-Stevens race.
Yes.
That graphic is on this page. Tell them to go and share it, whether they're in that.
Oh, thank you, Kendall. Yeah, also on this page, even if you're in the district or not, we want you to share those things coming off there, especially the Shaw, Senator Shaw and that District 3 race. We want you to share the heck out of that. I want you to share every one of them. Even if it's not in your district or you live in that district, share it anyway. Keep that word out there and keep this going. We're also going to be doing some other things in that district to make sure we get him fired. I mean, I sat right in front of the guy for 3 years. He would tell me, I said, well, will you hear this bill, or this bill? And he goes, well, I'll think about it. Well, each time he thought about it, nothing happened. So the irony is, I didn't request it. This is a survey turned in from Senator Shaw. Now, wouldn't you find, I didn't request it. We're already endorsing somebody else, and then this shows up. So the irony is, if you're going to fill out a survey at this point, don't you think it would be important to do it right? Yep. Because one of the questions on here we have for senators, and it is this. It's called advise and consent, because the state Senate advises and consents on who will be university presidents. And so we want to know, quite simply, senators are called upon to advise and consent concerning appointments by the governor to positions such as the state, colleges, and university presidents, regents, cabinet positions, and department directors, etc. As a senator, will you oppose any appointee that will not allow a person to exercise their Second Amendment rights while on the university property? He says, no. He's not going to oppose them. So I mean, that's the problem. We want him to oppose them.
Right.
They need him to oppose them. Right there, he's no. So he's telling you right up now, I'm going to continue the garbage I'm doing. Now here's on top of this. You're going to love this, and you're going to love this. Constitutional carry. Do you support constitutional carry that was acted in 2019? Yes, but he walked the vote in 2018. Right. So campus carry, carrying on a college campus. It is marked. I will support legislation allowing anyone in the military or law enforcement or basically any other person that has a valid handgun license to carry while on the property. All of a sudden, he's for it. And guess who's had the bill in his committee before? But all of a sudden, it never heard it. That's correct. So that's here's the other one too, and you'll look here. Capital carry, carrying to the state capitol. The bill has been in his committee before. He scratched no at first, and then put in the yes. Still making the mind up on that. This is who you've got as a public safety chair who's stopping and killing legislation. And by the way, I heard myself outside of his office tell Moms Demand Action ladies, no, we're not going to hear a bill. Embracing that. So that's who you've got there. So Grove, Oklahoma, like I say, Senate District 3, it's time to fire him. And you can do that on the 30th. And it needs to be done on the 30th.
Yeah.
All right?
He says on his campaign website this year that he's a champion for the
Yeah, he's a champion for the Second Amendment. If it survives this committee. Yeah. So anyway. Okay. What I'm going to do is so I can make sure we've got enough time. We've got candidates, people here that are candidates for certain positions. I'm going to start with Shelley Landon, who's just sitting right here. Why don't you come on up here, Shelley? I'm going to give each one of them 3 minutes. And who's candidates? I see you back there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're going to give each one of you 3 minutes because I want to make sure I get everyone in and out here. Folks, this is important. She's running for U.S. House District 5. All right? So you go right ahead. I want you to introduce yourself and go from there, okay?
Okay. I'm Shelley Landon, Dr. Shelley Landon. My doctorate is in education. And I am the face that you're looking at that exposed the gay marriage battle, brought all the media, got in their way, did that back in 2004. I was trained by Mildred Jefferson, who started the whole pro-life movement. Her Lifetime Achievement Award was given to me at her funeral at Harvard and hangs in my office. And I am also the face you're looking at that got the Star-Spangled Banner preserved to the perpetuity of the end of the nation. Oh, see, can you see?
Yeah.
And I found out that Mr. Obama had taken the funding away from the school children so they wouldn't know anything about the War of 1812 and how important it was after the Revolution. And then I went into high gear, learned how to knock on the doors of 99 of all the senators, congressmen, congresswomen, learned how to work with them on a bipartisan level, which you're going to have to do to get something passed unanimously. We got the Star-Spangled Banner preserved to the perpetuity of the end of the nation. The funding put in for an entire year. The holiday expanded from one measly little month to a full year. Got all the Governors Association on board, and I had a big shebang out on the Washington Mall on the last day of a full year of that celebration. And got the last verse that venerates our veterans and says, "In God is our trust. Praise God for heaven's rescued land." Finally recognized when the veterans put it in 1932. They had never fully dealt with that verse. And this was very important to me because I'm trained in national security. But not only that, my forefather was one of the fighters. He was a part of the Cobra spy ring for George Washington. He was at the Constitutional Convention. He took a 3-pound musket ball in his belly during the Battle of Brandywine, and another one in his elbow and his arm during another battle. And he was the very hand that took the sword of Cornwallis at the surrender of the British at Yorktown and handed it over to George Washington, passing the tyranny for our years of liberty to come. So this runs in my veins. I've got a pink pistol. I can take your head off if you get in my way. And if you go to my website, there's one very important thing I want you to see. Revoke Real ID is a website all by itself. You can find it at Landon for Congress or Friends of Landon. That's on my brochures. You can get one before you leave. And on my Bills and Resolutions tab, you will see a copy of what I just told you I had passed. I can teach you how to write bills, find sponsors, get a post office committee number, lobby it, and get it passed without ever being elected. As far as we know, I'm the first woman in American history to have achieved that before I was ever elected. So you will also see a bill to rescue our homeless vets, and then you will see one to revoke the Real ID with 3 inherent national security errors. I was on a telephone call with Joint Chiefs of Staff back in the fall. I asked them, are our boys and girls going to carry this driver's license with this code on it over in the Gulf fighting Islam? It was a drop-jaw, dead silent moment. And finally, one of the generals spoke back to me and said, can you tell us who's monitoring the code? I said, yes, sir. It has been shipped to an offshore company in United Arab Emirates with a Chinese partner after it went through Safran in France and the Russian military biometrics development department for RFID. You could have felt the whole world fall apart on their end at that point. And when you go on my website, you'll see the SDGs UN resolution passed in 1992 before 9/11 ever hit, putting forth their agenda to accomplish that. Then the most important thing you need to care about is that in 2022, that group of folks, now tied in with the Patriot Act, with the Real ID Act, slid in as a rider on a military defense bill in 2005, and the brand new Homeland Security with 15 men born in Damascus, Syria, working in what department? Developing your Real ID. They plan to put an RFID chip in every gun you've got, even your antique guns, if somebody doesn't get in their way. So you're looking at the face that's already in their way, and I have already been lobbying for this bill to be passed. The next insult came with COVID-19, where they decided to put a sugar chip with an RFID tracking chip in your hand. So one way or the other, these one-worldist communist thugs have decided to take that much of our privacy and liberty away from us if they could accomplish that. I promise you, when I get into Congress, full-fledged Congresswoman, I'll do more than get one bill passed like I did that important one that General Boykin told us at the Council for National Policy. As I stood up and sang the national anthem, presented it, and asked for their support. He said, if we ever lose that national anthem, we have lost our anchor for national defense. I will do much more than that. Everything I've ever put my hand to, I have sworn to my own hurt. I will change not, as the book of Proverbs gives us that scripture, until I get it done. And I'd love to have your interaction. There's some other national security concerns I would love to go over with you in person. There are some very difficult questions. One of them, a cache of over 2,000 automatic weapons found in a mosque at TU University. The guy had illegal permits, and somehow the whole incident disappeared. And that is an enemy that is trying to abuse our Second Amendment rights. But it's a tricky one to take into the halls of Congress. I'd like your feedback on all of this, and you can have my personal phone number, my email, call me up, meet with me at any time.
Great.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Shelley.
I'd like your vote on June 30th.
Thank you, Shelley.
Can we pass out a flyer to everybody?
Sure.
Thank you.
House District 85, which is currently being held by Cindy Munson. She has a wonderful D- rating. We actually have a gentleman here by the name of Bill Robinson, who has been endorsed by OK2A, and he's going to take 3 minutes just to give you a brief rundown here.
Thank you, Don. Bill Robinson, can you hear me in the back, please? If you can hear me, raise your hand. I think what Don just said qualifies me to be your candidate, who my opposition is. My opposition is a left-wing, liberal, charming young lady, intelligent, but she's not the kind of person that I think a person in this room wants to have in the Oklahoma House of Representatives. I am in District 85. I'm a 4-year veteran of infantry service with the United States Army. I have a law degree. Sorry, but it did teach me how to reason and how to solve problems. I'm a Christian who believes in the book of Proverbs. I believe wisdom counts, and I believe that with my extreme age and my extreme physical fitness, I compete in triathlons, that I can do a good job for everyone who's in this room. If you know someone in District 85, please ask them to support me. I do need support. Thank you.
Who else did I? Mr. McCauley, why don't you work your way up there? There was someone else that was. Who else did I have? Was that it? I mean, we're going to finish. This is the only guy from Oklahoma County Sheriff's race that turned in a survey and has an A rating on the survey.
Yes.
Thank you all for having me here tonight. I appreciate it. I love the OK2A meetings. They are fantastic. Sorry I'm late. I was at the Bartlett Center doing another speech. But a little bit about me. I've been in law enforcement since 1980. Law enforcement, once it's in your blood, it's there. You cannot get it out. My wife wanted me out of law enforcement for a little while, so I decided to do something a little less dangerous, and I became a firefighter. So, that's the only time basically I've been out of law enforcement. I am here to tell you that at this moment, the sheriff we have in office right now is spending hundreds of thousands of Oklahoma taxpayers' money by not saying yes to an oversight committee of the jail. There's trucks lined up in front of the jail, loading equipment, loading everything up, everything from evidence to whatever else is kept in that building. It is costing us, the taxpayers of Oklahoma County, hundreds of thousands of dollars because he did not want an oversight committee. Why do you not want an oversight committee? You don't want stuff found. Easy. Also, I'm the first candidate that has put in writing, and I have several of these tonight if you want one. I'm the first candidate that put in writing, I will declare Oklahoma County a Second Amendment county.
Yeah. There you go.
I will not come take your guns, and I will work with any and every law enforcement agency that comes to this county wanting help. That I can assure you. That I will assure that your taxpayers' money is being spent to the best it can be taken. Okay? Any questions? Yeah.
Got a question online. They want you to give your name again, if you would, please.
Okay. It's Michael McCulley, McCulley, and you can find me at sheriffmccully2020.com.
Thank you, Eric. Eric Roberts here. He's also an OK2A member and has been for quite a while. Running for House District 83. He has turned in a survey. He has an A rating. The person in that seat right now is Chelsea Branham and has a D-. Just stating facts, folks. Just stating facts.
Hello, I'm Eric Roberts, and I'm running for House District 83. I'm a local businessman. I've been in business in the commercial development business for over 28 years. Feel we need a little more business sense, a little more common sense down to state capitol. I'm pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, pro all the other amendments as well. I've been actually endorsed by the NRA, and I believe I've been endorsed by OK2A as well. So I just thought I'd just have a chance to say hi, and thank you for letting me come up here. Thank you.
Like I say, folks, we don't go through these endorsement lists and provide you with an idea who to support. And it cracks me up that I'll still see messages and stuff. Well, just because you guys say that they're a Second Amendment supporter, that don't mean they are. So, well, I agree. But we've got it in writing, and I'll make this real clear. Every time we've done one of these surveys and a person has been elected, we've never had to publish a survey because they went back on their word. I think that's a pretty good indicator. And as soon as I say that, I'm going to eat it. But you see, my point is we think we're on a good path here because, again, it's not about guns for us. It's about liberty. And it's people just like these you've heard talking here tonight is to maintain, to protect that liberty. All right? Because I personally don't want to ever have, I'd rather go to the ballot box than the shell box. You know, unless it's just for fun and stuff. But, you know. But anyway. Okay. What was my Denise note? It was that filling out.
Yeah, you got the forms
Oh.
down there.
Look at you, Kendall. Yeah, folks, when it comes to filling out the forms, whether it be online, whether it be a hard copy like this, I don't like it either. But the Ethics Commission requires that you put where you work, and that's the one thing people don't put down. Please make sure you fill out the information completely on that. All right, so when we're doing that. Now,
We've had 3 different people ask the question.
Awesome. Okay.
For Cleveland County Sheriff, who the OK2A endorses in that run.
OK2A endorses Mr. Freeman in that race. It's an open seat. Mr. Deal also has an A survey. The other 2 people in the race told me to my face that they were going to return a survey and then never did. So, folks, to me, it's just real simple. If someone won't fill out a survey, and it's not complicated and it's not too tough, they're hiding something. They're simply hiding something. If they won't put their name on it and sign it, date it, and say, I'm going to support Second Amendment rights, they're hiding something. So again, let's keep away from these types of individuals. Let's go with the people that are willing to, that at least put it in writing, they'll stand up for your rights. You got another one there? No, that's it.
Got membership forms outside the front door and stickers.
Oh, we got membership forms outside the front door, stickers, stuff like that. Now, I think we got about 10 minutes here. Yeah, good. We got questions.
Canadian County Sheriff.
Canadian County Sheriff. Canadian County Sheriff, when he says we're going to have a posse, nobody wants to run against a dude like that. So, you know, and I even I sent a message to my sheriff in Logan County saying, hey, where's our posse? Let's go. Come on. You're going to let Canadian County, whoop us on this. So I think it's fantastic. I hope Sheriff West continues to develop this, because some of these counties we're in are so big, you may have one officer for 20 square miles. Mm-hmm. So there may need to be some reasonable response times, especially when we keep hearing things like there's going to be a rally,
Peaceful.
so-called peaceful rally, and I visit Guthrie a lot, and I'm not going to sit around and wait for a 120-year-old building to be demolished just because someone decides to get rowdy or whatever they're doing. I don't think we should have to wait about that. I think we should be prepared to stop it before it happens and quelch it if it does. And so I think the sheriffs, I think this is an excellent program, and also we've been looking at legislation to make sure there is immunity for this type of a situation that transpires, that if a sheriff says, yeah, you're in my posse, or whatever they call it, it'd be covered by that. But yeah, I think, hey, Sheriff West, kudos to you, dude. We need a lot more sheriffs doing that. There's no doubt about it. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Talking about law enforcement and all that, what's been going on the last couple of weeks. I received an email today from the city of Oklahoma City saying that they will not cut their budget starting July 1st on law enforcement.
Oh, good. All right. So the question was, actually more of a statement, was that, and I agree, these people are saying they're going to defund law enforcement. What do you think's going to fill that vacuum? It works great in Somalia. Yeah, they cut their law enforcement, and look how well that's turned out. Minneapolis, what do you think? Sharia law is going to fill that vacuum. I'm sorry?
There you go.
Yeah, Sharia law is going to... See, sometimes I get it right. Yeah. See, Sharia law is going to fill that vacuum, and it's a perfect setup for it. It's a perfect setup for it. You can't have guns, but who's going to have them? And they may not even use guns. They'll use everything else. They're not afraid to use anything else. And make sure that can transpire. So cutting law enforcement defunding is stupid beyond belief, although it looks like it's working wonderfully in Seattle. That little zone. Yes, sir.
It's almost like it's planned.
Yeah, yeah, it's almost like it's planned. Yeah, it's exactly. But I don't know. Defunding the police is like defunding your health care. If you need it, what are you going to do? So anyway, actually, it's even worse than that because you have the liberty to protect yourself. But like I say, yeah.
Okay, Don, we've started an avalanche on people wanting to know which county. One is Comanche, one is Harper. And
all right, let me get my list.
Three I may have missed.
Okay, let me get my list in my time. All right, here we go. Well, of course it's online. That would be too easy where we've already got it waiting for you. Aha! Oh, crud. I got a paper cut out. All right. Okay. All right, here we go, you guys. What was Comanche? I'm going to start at the top. Let me just start at the top. These are endorsed. Okay? All I'm going to tell you is the endorsed. All right? We'll start with Bryan County, Sheriff Johnny Christian. Carter County, Sheriff Chris Bryant. Cimarron County, Sheriff Leon Apple. Let's see, Cleveland County, Michael Freeman. Cotton County, Sheriff Tim King. I got a king of a Cotton County. Oh, that just kind of has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Okay. Delaware County, Mike Wilkerson. And like I say, you guys in Delaware County, this is an open seat. You need to vote for Wilkerson. When I watched the Sheriff's Forum, he is the only one that absolutely understood that, hey, I don't care if some farmer in the truck's got a loaded gun. It don't matter to me. He's not bothering me. I'm not bothering him. The other sheriff, or the other candidates, one of the other candidates made the statement. He agreed with Don Spencer that people should not have loaded long guns in their cars. Who's that sound like 20 years ago for concealed carry? You can't have a concealed carry. They'll be shooting down the road. And it didn't happen. So we've got a law enforcement, someone that wants to be the chief law enforcement officer that doesn't trust you with your own gun. So if he can't trust you with the gun, you don't trust him with your vote. Yes. Got it? All right, got it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this guy's awesome too. Sheriff Tim Turner, Haskell County, is endorsed. Sheriff Joe, it's Janz. How would you say that? Jans, is it Jans? Sheriff Joe Jans of Kiowa County is endorsed. Also another cool guy. Sheriff Eddie Verton, Osage County, is endorsed. Sheriff Jeremy Floyd, Ottawa County, is endorsed. Chris Morris, Sheriff Chris Morris of Pittsburgh County, is endorsed. Sheriff Shannon Smith of Seminole County is endorsed. Sheriff Larry Lane of Sequoia County is endorsed. Sheriff McKinney of Stevens County is endorsed. Aaron Vaughn of Washington County, for Washington County Sheriff, is endorsed, and he is endorsed over the sheriff that is sitting there now, because we think it's that important. A lot of these endorsements were based on if the sheriff had proclaimed that county to be a Second Amendment sanctuary county, that was a good mark. And then if they filled out the survey, returned it, a positive A survey, we endorsed them. I mean, if the sheriff's willing to stick their head out for you and do that for you, I think it's great that we need to respond back with them. And here's what's kind of funny is some of these guys did actually, most of the sheriffs that did do a sanctuary county didn't have a competition against them. Lesson learned. Hear that? If someone's sheriff said this is going to be a 2A county, most of them didn't have a competitor. What's that message send you? So let that kind of sink in there. Okay, and that was Washington County. Like I say, Aaron Vaughn, Washington County, for sheriff. Okay, so we have more. If you want to see him right now, go to our Facebook page. It's on there. This complete list is on there right now. And I'm also going to have it updated for tomorrow because I've got some other things that I'll be adding with some of the other groups and stuff. So that's what's going on with that. All right. So I know it's getting close to time to go because I just saw Anthony yawn. I caught you, didn't I? I caught you. Just like in church. Preacher always calls you out there too, doesn't he? All right. So we got anything else there? All right, so we're going to go ahead and start shutting this down. Is there any other questions before we get out of here? None at all? Yes, sir.
Thank you, John. Would it be possible for a state to pass a law that if somebody in a demonstration throws a rock or a brick or something at police, he can be prosecuted as a domestic terrorist?
That's a good question. At this point, I just want to see him prosecuted. I mean, how much stuff have we seen just gotten away with? I would just be happy if they would just stick with what we've got and prosecute them. They took felonies away for everything, just about. So if one thing I would like to see is make sure it remains a misdemeanor crime, but just put the fine on it up in the thousands. So it's going to cost them one way or the other. I don't think that should be an outruled idea at all. There's a lot of things that are being circulated within the state capitol or outside of it at this point on how to deal with many of these things. But I think that's a good idea that I'll see what we can do to go with there. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know if you all are aware of the fact that there was a shutdown of little boys being able to go out and use the gun practice ranges at Fort Gibson a couple of years ago to be taught how to shoot a turkey and a deer because Islamic groups were camping too long overstaying in Fort Gibson, and they had signed up for them and had the list clobbered. Are you guys aware of that kind of activity?
I'm not specifically aware of it, but
it's an area to check out.
That goes back to your county sheriff.
Yeah.
That's where that goes back to, and that's why it's important. So anyway, so you have a question about? Oh, I thought I saw. See, okay, maybe you were scratching your head. If you'd been at an auction, you'd have bought it. Okay, you'd have bought it. Okay, like I said, we're cutting it short tonight because we need to be out of here. And I want to thank H&H Gun Range for 10, 11 years has let us use this room at no charge.
Yep.
All right, no charge. All right. So buy 40 or 50 guns and a couple of boxes of shells on the way out, okay? Because you can't have, remember our motto here, if you can count how many guns you have, you don't have enough. That's right. All right, everyone have a good evening, all right? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you bet, Shelley. It's so good to see you. Glad you were able to make it. We did not receive a survey back.
I never got one from you.
We mailed it to everyone, so who knows? I'll email it to you.
There were several gun groups that did. I did fill them out.
Okay.
I'll tell you one thing, I'm overwhelmed where they'll send them.
Oh, I know, and especially for you.